The biggest reason the Cowboys lost.
The biggest reason they lost, they're a bad football team. They are a really bad football team. They beat no teams of their 6 wins. None of those teams that they beat made the playoffs. So that's what happens. They're a bad football team. We got to stop this. Skip has perpetuated this, Jerry Jones. But you know what? Let me tell you why they lost. People, let me tell you why they lost. They were holding back because their defense has been suspect all year, so the offense started holding back, so they wanted to make sure their defense was fresh for the offseason. You see how ridiculous that sounds, Skip? Look, Andy Dalton was terrible. We're going to talk about this a little later. This football team was terrible. All of the people that they were counting on to make plays game in and game out, week in and week out, did not show up on a consistent basis. None of them did. Andy Dalton, I got the best backup. That was the best money. That was the best money Derek could have spent. Ooh, Dak. I don't know if we're going to pay Dak. Now look at Andy Dalton. Look, first of all, the game should have never even been this close. Andy Dalton was awful yesterday. If the Giants could catch, this game would have been over in the first half. I got a few clips. I want to pull a few clips, Skip, because I don't really like to pull clips, but I want to show just how putrid Andy Dalton was.
You better get it all out of the way because I'm about to unleash on everything you just said.
You can unleash all you want.
You've never been more
You're
wrong.
home. You're going home. You can unleash because the last 3 weeks I didn't have your attention. You're out of the playoffs now. I have your undivided attention. Roll the tapes, Jim. You're going home. Look at this. This should have been a pick six. To the house, that should have win. Yes or no? Thank you. I take that as a yes. Oh, look, what is that? Trying to force feed Gallup. Should have been another one. Bradford Hardy side. What is this? Pick. But he played great. You're going home. You know what? I don't even want to talk. Just the mere fact that you're so upset, like the rest of the Cowboy fans, it does me good. Talk all you want. You can take the rest of the segment. The Cowboys are going home, America, and we love it.
You done?
I'm done.
You didn't. I'm actually shocked by how little you had to say.
I ain't got that to say.
Because America, I got to get a new TV because I saw a whole different game, especially in the second half, than the Hall of Famers saw.
Second half.
I don't know. I got a black and white TV with little rabbit ears on it. I don't know. That's all I can afford.
That's
I live way down in the flats. Shannon Sharpe lives way up in the palatial estate of Bel Air.
Looking down at that sorry team of yours.
By the way, my team won more games out of division than any other team in the division, but who knew?
That's a terrible division.
Okay. Here we go. Here's what I saw yesterday. I'm going to give you. My team stunk up the first half. I don't know why. Once again, another big game, late season game. My team did not show up in the first half. I saw 2 personal foul penalties where I said, what was that about? Is that how you show emotion and you show energy in the first half? And I saw my running back right on schedule quit on my team once again, but I'm going to save that until later because Zeke flat out quit on my team at a crucial turning point in the first half that could have swung the game in my favor. But I'll get to that in just a moment because to my team's credit, it regrouped at halftime, and it came out and flat out dominated the Giants throughout the second half. I don't know what you were watching. You were probably gloating and dancing.
I was gloating.
You're probably out in your backyard doing backflips. I don't know what you were doing.
I was working on my speech.
Here's what happened in the second half. My team won the second half 10-3, and obviously I'm about to get to this point. It should have been 10-0. But my team in the second half ran 46 plays to the Giants' 23 plays.
Yep.
My quarterback, Andy Dalton, regrouped, gathered himself, got his hand stepped on early in the third quarter by Leonard Williams, who weighs about 320 pounds, and stepped right on his left hand with cleats on because it was wet and soggy out there, and cut his hand badly, probably broke a finger, I'm going to guess, because that's...
his right hand?
No, his left hand.
Oh, is he left-handed?
Doesn't matter, okay. Yeah, doesn't matter, right? And my quarterback showed guts and hearts you will rarely see in a football game in the second half as he threw for 144 yards, but the Hall of Famer across from me says he was pathetic.
He was!
And I saw a guy who converted 6 out of 11 third and fourth downs. Is that good? I'd say that was sensational. I saw a team win the second half 10-3 by dominating the yards 194-97. And here's what I saw. I saw a turning point play with 8 minutes and 18 seconds left on a pass to Dante Pettis over the middle on 3rd and long. If we could see this play, please. And That's probably the best pass he threw in the whole second half. And Pettis catches it, and clearly I only needed one look to know that he stuck the nose in the turf to catch the football. You know it, and I know it. It was clearly not a catch. My coach could have just looked up at the monitor in the stadium, which he seemed to be doing, and take one look and realize it's not a catch. Would you agree it's not a catch?
I would have challenged it.
Oh, it's not a catch because our man Mike Pereira said, I have no doubt that it would have been overruled if it had been challenged.
You challenge it just cause.
So what have I had a problem with all year long? I've said over here and said this 100 times through the season. I keep asking, what does Mike McCarthy do on the sideline? Because he doesn't call plays. He doesn't overrule or rule on special teams risk that they take. So he just sort of stands over there with his hands in his pocket, blinking and looking around like, am I the head coach? I'm not sure. Mike McCarthy is Mike McSleepy. He has challenged 2 plays the whole year. And I'm saying, who is he and what is he doing over there? It's like, you know what a pond looks like with a bullfrog on a lily pad?
I do.
He's like a big old bullfrog over there just on a lily pad, just sunning himself on Sunday afternoon. I don't know what he's doing.
So that's why they lost the game?
Yeah, absolutely, because all of a sudden they line up. He even had time because they took their time to get the field goal team on and to get Graham Cano set, and they didn't go on a quick snap. They just went ahead and kicked a 50-yard field goal that won the game with 8:18 to go.
Yeah.
So what would have happened if you challenge and it's clearly overturned, which it would have been in a snap? What would have happened? A 60-yard field goal. Do you think they would have tried a 60-yarder? I do not think so. A one-point game, 20-19, they'd say, I don't know. That's like the edge of Graham Gano's range. We can't reset it. We'll give the Dallas too great a field position.
How about this? How about with 8:18 to go, you score a touchdown? Would you have won the game?
Okay, the point is that they shouldn't have had their field goal. The point is they would have punted to us, and we were dominating them. We were moving the ball like crazy. What happened on the final drive? Look at these conversions. 3rd and 3, 3rd and 1, 4th and 2, 3rd and 1. And they get it all the way to 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. And guess what would have happened?
Go ahead.
If Mike McCarthy would have challenged, what would have happened? We would have just bled the clock out and kicked our go-home field goal, and we would have gone home to play Tom Brady next Saturday night in a playoff game. That's all it required. It clearly was on the head of the head coach. And you know what his quotes were? I didn't see enough to challenge. You didn't see enough? What are you talking about?
Can I ask you a question, Skip? What about the other games that they lost? Was all those because they didn't challenge?
Well, I don't care about that. I care about yesterday because that's to get in the playoffs.
Skip, you're a bad football team in a bad division. Why all of a sudden did you think all of a sudden miraculously you're going to be the Packers? You're going to be the Chiefs or something. You are bad. You've been bad the whole year. I don't care about that. I care about yesterday. You lost.
They were a 2-point favorite, and my coach blew it again. And I don't know. Maybe Jerry Jones hired him because he's even more of a puppet than Jason Garrett. Even more.
Oh, no.
And my team came back together in spite of the defensive coordinator and the new head coach and said, let's dominate. My team won the second half. Should have won it 10-0. Should have won the game 22-20.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're about to talk about Doug Peterson and that blunder in the nightcap, but I thought that Jalen Hurts would win that game, and he would have won that game if he had been given a chance to win it in the fourth quarter. So all I know is that my head coach stood over there like a boob, like a dolt, like McSleepy. That's who he is. He's Mike McSleepy. He just stood over there, and you know what? I'm ready to conclude you've been right all along. He is just an overrated product of Aaron Rodgers. Again, the two of them went together to a Super Bowl 10 years ago. Now we're about to find out if Aaron Rodgers can get back to a Super Bowl, which I have grave doubts about.
So let me ask you a question. Who's looked better apart?
Who's looked better
Who's
apart?
looked the best of the two, McCarthy or Rodgers?
Well, last year they were apart. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers was terrible last year.
He sure would like to be terrible again, 13-3, and make it to the NFC Championship game. This time, he's 13-3 and number 1 seed, but he looked terrible. But anyway, Skip, this should. I'm trying to figure out. I've missed something. Let's go back. This is the 6th time since Tony Romo was the starter that going into Week 16, they had something to play for, and they lost. 2011, 12 and 13.
I don't care about
Hold on, Skip.
I just don't care.
I know you don't.
care.
You lost, Skip.
Yeah.
Let me talk.
Tony Romo's not there anymore.
The fact of the matter is, coming into week 17 with something to play for, the Cowboys buck. The Cowboys are in a terrible division, and they lost in your season because for the last 3 weeks you come out here, how about them Cowboys? And it's my turn to gloat.
In the second half, my team played exactly the way it had for 3 straight weeks. It dominated the game. It looked like the best team in the NFC East.
Yeah, hey,
it was there.
Your team dominated the game, and they still got outgained. Your team ran more plays, had to possess the ball longer, and you still got outgained in yardage. So what did you do?
46 plays to 23 plays in the second half, and my fool of a head coach just stands over there with his hands in his pocket and doesn't challenge a play that turns the whole game around.
Plays don't win you game. Points win you game. How many points did you score? Did you have more than 24?
All right, now let's go back to the flashpoint of the first half. Let's go back to what happened early in the game because all of a sudden, Andy Dalton, who got off to a horrendous start, he looked overmatched, overwhelmed, like the stage was too big for him. It was rainy. It was snowy. It was, and again, it's not like he hasn't played in that kind of weather in Cincinnati or Fort Worth, Texas. And
or Pittsburgh or Baltimore.
He threw a really nice swing pass, a lead swing pass to Ezekiel Elliott, if we could see this. And it went for 9 yards and a first down, and all of a sudden, Dallas had the ball 1st and 10 at the New York 16. They're down 6-0. And look, he waved out. He did it again.
He hurt.
This is the highest paid running back in pro football. Sweet swing pass, got him in the flat, got on the edge. First down, 1st and 10 at the 16. This is where your bell cow back, your lead back, the highest paid back in football says, feed me. This is where you see this. This is where you give it to Zeke and give it to Zeke and you give it to Zeke again. And he just ramrods it up the middle and bullies and punishes the Giants defense and takes it home. And all of a sudden you're ahead 7-6. It would have changed the whole momentum and the whole texture and feeling of the first half. And what happened? He's over there waving out. Okay. If he had gone to the sideline, he's over there the rest of the drive with the cape on. He's got his cape on. Right. If he had been seriously hurt, if he had pulled his hamstring or torn his hamstring and was out for the rest of the game, I would give you that. He complained later, my quad was bothering me. Your quad baloney. He came back in the game and looked just fine the rest of the game. So how can you do that to your team? You know and I know he is the unopposed leader of the team with no Dak Prescott. They all say, he's our leader. We look to him for wisdom and advice and for him to set the tone. And he waves out of the game. Are you kidding me? If you'd been on that team, you would have said, okay, that's enough. We're out.
But let me ask you a question. Where's your highest paid receiver in the NFL? Where was he at? Where was Amari Cooper? What if Amari Cooper done electric? Skip!
He caught a ball that almost scored.
Hold on, time out. Amari Cooper had 9 targets, 6 catches, 41 yards, 13 yards for a long. He averaged 6.8 yards, less than 7. And you talking about he was good, making $20 million a year?
Yeah, I thought he was actually pretty good for the road. He was terrible on the road.
That explains why your team is terrible. Because as bad as their big dollar guys play, you still think they play good.
What about my running back? That's all that matters.
Exactly.
He's the highest paid running back in pro football.
Amari Cooper is the highest paid receiver. Ooh. He makes $20 million a year.
You know what? All Zeke is anymore is a fullback. He can get 1 yard when there's no hole, but he can't get 8 or 9 yards when there's half a hole. That's the problem.
Can I ask you a question?
And in spite of all that, in spite of Ezekiel Elliott quitting, shutting it down on them in the first half, in spite of a defensive coordinator who was a disaster this year, in spite of a head coach who stands over there like a bullfrog on a lily pad, in spite of all that, my team played a tremendous second half. Dominated the game and should have won the game 22-20.
Hold on. The very thing that you criticized Jason Garrett for the last 3 years, his team does not come out with any emotion. They do nothing in the first half, and all you do is come hype and talk about the second half. Okay, they dominated the second half, but still got outgained, Skip. How is that possible?
Well, because of the first half, obviously.
Okay, then.
And would you believe that the new Packers head coach Matt LaFleur, would you believe he challenged the opening kickoff yesterday at Chicago because Cordero Patterson sort of muffed it out of bounds. He stepped out of bounds at the 1, and they allowed him to, they were going to put it out at the 20.
Yeah.
And and again, he challenged it to his credit. Well, my coach doesn't do anything. I don't know what, he's semi-retired.
Wait a minute. Just 6 months ago, you was doing pom-poms. You was, we got a made man.
Well,
we got Mike McCarthy.
I did.
Get on Jason Garrett out of here. Now look at you.
Yeah.
You're taking the same tune because guess what? You're in the same situation. But at some point in time, you change coaches. You change defensive coordinators. At some point in time, Skip Bayless, you're going to hold these players accountable. And not just Zeke Elliott. Amari Cooper, again, was a no-show in a big moment. Remember last year in Philly? What did they do, Skip, to him in Philly last year? What happened with the Jets? What happened in New Orleans? There's a reoccurring theme here. You got CeeDee Lamb. He did it to you again, Skip. He dropped another one, another one. I told you.
He dropped one big ball late in the game. I will give you that. If we could see it, I want to be objective about this, but on second goal after a sack.
He dropped it.
I'm being objective.
He dropped it.
You know, he probably could have taken that to, I don't know, the 7 maybe, and had given him a little better shot on 3rd down and 4th down to get the ball in. He was obviously looking to run before he caught it, but he has had a very good year, maybe not quite as good a year as the rookie up in Minnesota.
Yeah, not quite as good,
but it was very good.
CDLs piled up. I told you, Skip Bayless, what was good. As a matter of fact, hold on, before we go any further.
Whatever happened to Jerry Jeudy?
You see him yesterday? Did you see him yesterday?
Play?
Did they cut him? The longest pass reception by a receiver in the NFL this year. Really? 92, boned out.
Would you take him over CeeDee Lamb?
I would take Jerry Jeudy.
Stop it.
Give me Jerry Jeudy with a quarterback. Give me Jerry Jeudy with a quarterback.
Again.
Give me Jerry Jeudy with a quarterback. But that's not here nor. Can I get my cases? I told you y'all wouldn't have a winning record. So guess what? And we swept the Spurs. I do. And Tampa didn't win the division. So I go from being 6 cases down to 5 cases up, just like that over the weekend.
I like my Super Bowl picks. I like Tampa, and I love Baltimore.
Baltimore. But no. Before we talk about we got plenty of time. Skip, the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, is like February the 7th. We got a lot of time in between there and there. I want to stick to, like you tell me, stay on topic. Let's stick to the Cowboys. Your pathetic, putrid Cowboys. And I told you, I said, Skip, it's going to hurt you even more because you get so close. You can see it. You can actually see. And then you can't go in.
Yep.
Oh, boy, that hurt. I know that hurt, Skip. I know it hurt because there are a lot of people and everybody, we steal them boys. But you make no playoff, Noah.
You know why it didn't hurt? Because I was really proud of my football team.
Proud of what? Skip, hold on, Skip. Hold on,
Love the way they played.
Hold on, time out, Skip. This is professional football.
Yep.
This ain't 7 and 8 year olds when you get participation. And I'm proud of you, baby. You did a good job even though you didn't win. What the hell is that about? This is the NFL. And your team in the worst division in a very, very long time were the worst. But all you do is talk about, hold up. I ain't hear you mention Randy Gregory. He flashed. I ain't even hear you mention D-Law. He flashed.
I thought D-Law played well. Randy Gregory got doubled every time out. Because they saw what I saw, a difference maker.
I just want to know, if you're a top 5 player at your position as far as money, everybody underperformed this year. Everybody. That's why you're 6 and 10. That's why you're picking what in the top 10. You're in the top 10 picking, right, Skip? Or y'all picking like?
I don't even care.
Oh yeah, you care. That hurt. You did all that hype. No, we going to the NFC Championship game. Oh, Jerry, I want to switch things around.
Help me out. Did I have my quarterback the whole year? No. I lost him in the 5th game.
There's a lot of people that didn't have their quarterback. If this team is as stacked as you said it is, they should be able to bring this thing home. And you had the best quarterback in the division. That's what you told me.
Yep.
Andy Dalton had won. He won 10 games his first 5 years.
Played like it yesterday. Played like it.
He played. He played. That's why they got him up out of Cincy.
Really? Boy, I thought he played really well.
Skip, I love how you did that. You talk about, look at these, what they picked up on 3rd down. They picked up 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 4. They finished the game 6 of 17. So they picked up 3 of those first downs on 3rd down in the last drive.
What were they in the second half? I told you there were 6 of 11 on 3rd and 4th down. That'll work. That was all about Andy Dalton doing it with his arm and his legs.
They were 35% for the game. Is that good?
All I know is we should have won.
No, you should.
Challenge, win.
Skip, y'all have been, so what other games should you have won? Because you should have lost Atlanta, and then it made this moot. So all these, that's what you do. You only look at what you should have won, but what about the games that you should have lost?
All I care is when they hit 3 and 9 bottom, they said, let's play. And they won 3 straight games, and they were scoring big points. 30 and 41
team.
and 37.
Bad team.
Really? San Francisco was a bad team? I didn't think so.
Skip.
Huh.
They down to their third quarterback.
Huh.
They're down to their fourth or fifth running back.
Ooh.
Look at all the guys they've had out with COVID.
Did you see what they did to Arizona? Yeah. Next week, they went to Arizona, held them to 12 points after my team scored 41 points.
And you do know what did Arizona do to you? Didn't Arizona rush for 7,000 yards on you guys?
Yep, everybody did.
You guys gave up 150 for that Rod Marinelli and Chris Sharpe pathetic defense that you said was pathetic last year. You gave up 150 more points this year with the same people.
And guess what my defense did yesterday to the New York Giants offense?
Nothing.
They were 0 for 7 on third down. 0 for 7?
Daniel Jones.
My defense was pretty good.
Daniel Jones was 17 of 25 for 229. He had an interception, but that was Evan Ingram's fault. The ball hit Evan Ingram in the wrong spot, which is his hand. And his rating was almost 50 points, was 40 points higher than Andy Dalton, 29 of 47, 243. 6 sacks. Dalton Schultz was your leading receiver. Really, Skip?
Andy Dalton had a higher QBR than Daniel Jones by 9. That's pretty good. So he outplayed him.
Daniel Jones had a higher score on the scoreboard than Andy Dalton. That means he won the game.
He had a higher score than Mike McCarthy had.
Don't do that, Skip. No. Oh, no. You had a made man. You see how on the weekend how it does flip just like that. You go from 6 cases up to 5 cases down.
Yep.
Lickety split. And I'm going to get some more before the show over.
Really?
Yep.
How are you going to do that?
Because you're going to make a bet, you're going to make another bet. You just can't help yourself.
Well, if we want to go back to the history of the show, I believe I'm up like 75 cases total. If we want to do that. What's $1 billion?
Hold up, it's 2021. Oh, yeah, 2021. We done got rid of 2020, 2019, and 2021. And I'm in the front. You in the back.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.